Recording. So welcome everybody formally. This is Asian Supervision Network. We meet once a month, and the goal is to bring visibility to supervision to Asia and to provide a learning opportunity to supervisors in the region. And today we have with us Jaya Bhateja, who is going to be facilitating a session on group supervision. Jaya, what do you want people to know about you, for people who do not know you? And I'm going to make it a little bigger for people to...
Thank you, Damien, for this opportunity. I'm an MCC practicing in India. I run a coaching institute called Abhyudaya Global Coach Circle, wherein we provide all kind of ICF coaching education, mentoring and supervision. So that's our focus. And yeah, pretty passionate about coaching. It's been 15 years into this field.
And you also developed recently some cards. Are you going to bring it today for this to use for this group supervision experience? You want to talk about that?
Yeah, so we'll be using Meraki cards, which is actually a reflective tool. And this tool is basically we have converted the framework into 54 cards, which gives you 5 clues. Every card has 5 clues, and the main clue is your reflective question in that. And you play with subconscious here. You play with serendipity. You also play with how your subconscious guides you into different situations of your life. So we'll be using that in today's conversation.
So welcome everyone. Janarbir, welcome. Great to see you. Anushli, Kevin, Suman. So the idea is to have a group supervision experience. So we will need somebody to bring a case, somebody who have something that you're working on, a client or a situation. And you're all going to be engaged in a conversation with Jaya using these cards. I am going to turn off the camera. I'm going to be an observer. And then, so in that case, you have 4 people, what I think is a good number of participants for group supervision. Usually group supervision, you want to have 4 to 5 members. So everybody had a chance to participate. So somebody can bring a case, and in the case, you have 3 more people to bring some observations based on whatever you want to facilitate. It's up to the first group supervisor.
Sure.
So I'm going to turn off my camera and put everybody now. I'm going to remove your spotlight so everybody can see each other at the same space. And we have 30 minutes, okay, to do this experience, and then we have 5 minutes or 10 minutes for the brief.
All right, thank you. Great, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining. I think quite an appropriate size for a group coaching supervision. So it seems that we all are trained on supervision, so we understand the fundamentals and doing team coaching in our respective areas. Is somebody have a case that they would like to reflect on? No one has a case? Okay. All right. So
yeah, people need to take a little bit more time to think, because here all supervisors, so it doesn't have to be a challenge. It can be something that you're working with somebody and you want to validate or normalize. It doesn't have to be a problem. And if recording is an issue, we don't record it. Because sometimes recording can be an issue for being vulnerable and open, sharing a case. So that shouldn't be in our way. And also, if anybody working with a team, if you have a team, there is always something to look at in a team coaching because of the complexity. So if any of you are working with any team without giving any details about the team, I am sure you can come up with some exploration.
Okay, so if we're allowed to do a team, I've got a team challenge.
okay.
So organizational change, and we've probably heard all of this in the news already. So this particular organization has a directive from their global office. The office here in Singapore is around about 20 people, so it's not very large. Mandated, must be in the office 5 days a week. So it's a huge morale challenge for them, because they've been hybrids now. and they gave up their office space, and they are now in one of those service offices, something like a WeWork.
Hmm.
And they now have sufficient space in the WeWork type environment where all 20 of them can come into the office. So the team morale is not great.
Hmm.
And it's a huge challenge in terms of focus because they're in an open environment. And some staff members have called out about what about confidentiality? So we're trying to work through with the team now in terms of trying to work through what they can control, what they can't control, what's stopping them from being productive, what are the things they can do in terms of trying to alleviate this low morale that's happening within the team. So
Mhm.
that's the challenge that's going through now.
Thank you for volunteering, first of all, Kevin. Um, what I understand is you're talking about your own current team and looking at the transitions. There are a couple of challenges that you're dealing with, and you would like. So, what is that you would like to take away from the supervision conversation?
My biggest difficulty is actually putting my own feelings about the situation aside. I don't agree with this mandated 5 days,
Okay.
the 5 days a week in the office. Simply because the world has moved on, right? And people have proven that they can be productive. The deliverables are still exactly the same, and
Mhm.
we're just working remotely. I think a lot of it has to do with 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 just believing that when you mandate and force people to do things, the outcome is not necessarily the best. So my biggest challenge is not sympathizing with the employees and helping them move forward from a team coaching perspective. It's very
Mm.
difficult for me to bite my tongue.
Okay, great. So, what we can do in this half an hour is invite some reflective questions from our peer group here, and also we'll use Meraki just after that. So let's do the first round of reflective questions as to what question our peer group have for Kevin, where he himself doesn't, do not feel aligned to this policy of 5 days a week and similar challenges with the team. What would you like to ask, Kevin?
So, Kevin, you mentioned feelings, and can you say a bit more about that? What are you feeling?
I just think management is stupid for making decisions like this. Because the thing is, the team was already high performing, and now you've mandated it. And it's causing morale problems, and staff are just like disenfranchised. So we haven't done enough sessions to figure out whether some employees are looking to leave or what they're feeling in terms of long term. But some of the feelings coming through is like, I now have to go like find childcare for my kids, which I didn't have to do because I had the flexibility of remote working. So, and we all know that childcare now is starting to get a little bit more expensive and things like that. So there's also added costs there as well. So that's the reason why I'm feeling it was working well, and now you're taking it away. I get that we have to be consistent around the world. Everybody has to be treated the same. Everybody has to abide by company policies and everything. But why would you destroy something that's working well? That's my biggest issue.
What could be other issues you may be going through internally, Kevin?
Um, I don't think I'm going through anything internally. I think it's just from a values perspective. Um, I'm not, I'm probably not one of those people that take well to dictatorships. And I guess now that you asked that question, Jaya, I think a lot of what Donald Trump is doing is rubbing off on my feelings. Simply because it's like that has now become a dictatorship. And I think if you read some of the newspaper articles that were published yesterday, it's like they were saying that Donald has now become like Xi Jinping, right? Has made America very similar to China, where it's become a dictatorship. And I guess now that you've asked the question, I guess that is probably rubbing off on me.
That's very interesting. Let's see what else can we reflect on. Can you reflect on through Anushli and Jenny?
I have a question for you, Kevin. To which extent do you think that what you are bringing is a shared feeling?
I definitely have a lot of empathy for the staff that are going through this change. And whilst I ran that first session, it was basically like very, very bite my tongue, don't say anything, just walk through with them in terms of how they can perform better as a team, how they can overcome this directive from global. So I think for me, I would have to say suppressing the way that I'm feeling, suppressing my empathy for them during a team coaching session. I think that was the most challenging part for me, which is why I'm bringing this up for supervision.
Thank you.
So I'm hearing someone grieving here.
Yes, lots of freedom.
And I'm wondering how is that having an impact on how Kevin shows up to this entity, the team?
I don't think it impacts me simply because it is an engagement. So I think from a professional perspective, there isn't any change there. I guess it's just all the internal ping pong that I'm going through in terms of like, yeah, I feel for you. I'm like, this is a horrible place to have to come to now. I have to say though that I'm actually okay with 3 days in the office. It's just 5 days in the office is just pushing it a bit. And I like the 3 days simply because of the work that we do, right? It gets lonely. So having somebody to talk to maybe 3 days a week is actually quite useful. Yes, we can do it on Zoom like what we're doing now, but it's a little bit different to actually being with somebody.
Okay. So, Damien, can you allow me to share my screen? What else must be happening with you, Kevin, if you reflect? How is it impacting your thinking or something else? Like I understand you said you're not feeling anything other than this, but
Yeah. I guess the other part of me is the Asian part of me coming through. It's like, okay, global has made a decision, just accept it and move on. I think that's the other part that's coming out as well. So there is a bit of, as I said, there is a bit of internal ping pong going on because whilst I have full empathy for them and it's like, oh my God, how can you force people to go back into the office? I do have the other side that is like, okay, let's just mourn. Let's mourn our loss of freedom, our loss of 2 days a week at home. Let's mourn, but let's just get over it, right? We can't be like feeling like this constantly. So that's the other part of me that I'm feeling as well.
So
as some of you know that I'm quite practical. So it's like, let's mourn and grieve, and then let's just get on with it.
okay, great. So this is just bringing this reflection, the 7I model. Just reflect on this for a second. Is there any other part that may be silently bothering you?
Now that I'm looking at this, Jaya, I think the biggest one impacting me is actually number 7.
Okay. And like you said, you would like to move on from that.
Yes,
What's
correct.
possible? Which eye can you focus more on to move on from 7?
I think to move on from 7 for me is probably I'd like to look at I5, but what I call it, the left brain in me is looking at I6.
Okay. What else can happen here? Else are the possibilities?
I think if I look at it as a team coach, I4 is going to be critical for the team to move forward because they're going to need to have a difficult conversation with the management team so that everything is out in the open, everything is on the table. I think that transparency is going to be important so that everybody can move forward. So I think from a client perspective, I4 will be the critical part.
Interesting. Okay, great. Are you gathering some ideas so far about how to move forward in your situation?
Yeah, so I think from a team coaching perspective, right, is like, and as I reflect now, the team are passive aggressive. So I think they do need to have some level of transparency and the whole what is not being said. I think they need to have that between themselves as well as the leadership team. I think if we can get them to do that, I can actually let go of the whole geopolitical, which I know I have no control over.
Interesting. And now that we are talking about this, I'm also thinking that do you think there may be some influence of your value system happening to the team?
I don't think so because I haven't said that I agree with them. Because as I said, I've tried to be keeping it professional, put my feelings aside and let them drive that conversation. It's just my internal ping pong that is happening.
Yeah, actually, my question was, can in any way, your ping pong maybe showing up in your works, even energetically, may not verbally?
I don't think so. I think most of my interactions with this specific team during the team coaching session has been quite consistent with how I do other work.
Okay, sure. Anushri has a question.
Yeah, so when you were speaking about transparency and saying what is not said, something sparked in me and I wanted to ask this. Let's imagine. I believe you have said everything you need to say in this space, but let's imagine like a scenario. If there's something Kevin has not said yet, what that could be?
It might be a bit blunt, Anushri, but it might be just to the team is like, great, we've had one session, just get with the program. It's like, why are we wasting so much time here with this? So that's the left brain side of me coming out, just being practical. So
Okay.
that is just basically something that I would love to say, but from a professional perspective, it's not something that I would do.
And anything else?
No, that would be mainly it.
Okay. But I'm just feeling this strong sense of like, I know it, but I also feel like challenging you, like, if there's a scenario you don't know it, what would that be?
I think if there was a scenario that I don't know, I would just do more exploration, like with the client as well. But I think that the thing there is during that first session, they were just very, very open. Like it wasn't very difficult to ask them how they were feeling and what we were trying to resolve. That wasn't very difficult at all. So I think if it was a topic where it was different, I would be doing a lot more questioning, a lot more exploration.
I can hear that there is a little shift from what we were saying because I was also feeling kind of little bit resistance to um to agree that like only the fish don't know he's swimming in water. So what is the thing that you might be holding very tightly that if you let go, then it will make things maybe a little bit easier for you.
I think just going through this session and when Jaya put up that diagram, I think looking at I4, I think that was the part that, oh wow, that's the thing that I need to do on the next session. Because it is that passive aggressiveness with this team that they actually haven't done. And I think that's going to be critical. Because I think for everyone to move on, including for myself, I think that conversation between the team as well as the senior management, I think that conversation needs to take place.
Interesting. Great. So let's move on a little bit from there and experience Meraki cards in this particular context. And I request all of you to think about one number between 1 to 54. Yeah. And I'm posting the link of the cards here in the chat. And go find your card there. You can do Control F and you'll be able to find your number. The cards are randomly placed. And once you find your card, let's share it one by one for Kevin's reflection. Or you can ask a question that's the card is asking.
Oh, this is hysterical. So
Okay.
I picked 20 and I go down and find 20 and it's mindset, values, and beliefs.
Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, and you see that, do you want to share the card here or can I can share it, wait. I can share it. So card number 20 is this. What would you advise to your younger self in this situation?
Oh. I think that the big clarity that I got literally is transparency in conversations. It's like, why bother holding it back?
And why were you holding it back?
Yeah, and I think that's the question I need to ask the team at the next session.
Interesting. Let's see what others have got. What cards have you got, Janine?
Mine was 3.
3. Okay, let's go and see 3. And that says, wait, 03. Okay, and the card says, here, meaning and purpose. What purpose are the current actions of yours serving? Kevin, this is for you. And I think we are all reflecting about our own situations as well. And if there is anything else shows up for all of you for your respective situations, do share that.
Can you read the question again?
What purpose are the current actions of yours serving?
I think for me, now that I have clarity for the next coaching session, it's really about helping the team be brave. So basically, if a situation like this comes up again as a team, how can they go through and just have a conversation?
Interesting. Okay, let's go to the next number. What have you got, Suman or Jenny?
Letting the team have that space to have that conversation, because of the Asian culture there and the passive aggressiveness that are going on. It's about being brave enough to have that adult conversation with senior management.
Okay, so courage and brave conversation is becoming a theme so far. Let's see what you need. Jenny, it was your number or Suman's number? Suman's number, right? Jenny,
You're
what's
talking
your
to
number?
me?
Yeah. What's your
Yeah,
number?
14.
14. Okay, let's see. 14 says energy, mental, emotional. How would you ideally like to feel about this?
I guess not to have the internal ping pong. I guess that would be at the top of the list. But I guess after that is, I guess not to feel so hard done. I guess it's because of what got the loss of freedoms and things like that. And I guess it's just letting go of that. So I guess it's what I want to feel is not to let that like excite me or cause me anxiousness in terms of feeling empathy for that team. And I guess if I let that go, then the internal ping pong will stop.
Yeah, it seems that the value about the freedom, which is common between the team and you, may have become a reason for these triggers. What do you think about it?
No, I think it is. I think it is. And it comes back to what I was saying before, is like the values that I believe in. It's like, and that's the reason why I have so much empathy for the team.
Exactly. So value, basically, when we share some values and they get a bit hurt somewhere in the system, can create some reaction, whichever way. Interesting. So, Anushri?
Kevin, and for all of us, this makes me to wonder about the empathy we have on us and the people around us, and how is that shaped by our own values? Something to ponder on. I feel like how our empathy is influenced by our values.
I think if you have strong values, it's very easy to draw connections with what other people are going through. So I think that kind of triggers the empathy that comes through. So if you have strong values and you believe in those values, I think the empathy is quite easy to connect.
Yeah, but my question is, as a coach or as a supervisor, how is that influencing the space we hold? That empathy, what the meaning we are giving for that empathy. That's what's coming up.
So I have to say, in a coaching session, I try to put that aside because it's about focusing on the client rather than about myself. So for me, from an empathy perspective, it wouldn't come up, but it's after the session is when all of these feelings and anxiousness will come up then.
And that's very interesting, Kevin. So when you say it doesn't come up in the session, it means it stays inside you, with
Yes.
you in the
Yeah.
session.
Yes. And that's the reason why I have the internal ping pong.
Yeah, and that's what I'm going back to my question. How might that be energetically coming in
I don't think
without
it
you
impacts
doing
me. I'm actually quite good at compartmentalizing. So if I'm in a professional setting, I know what needs to be done. And that's just the pure left brain coming through.
Sure. Okay. Jenny and Suman.
Yeah, beautiful work, Kevin. Oftentimes we think emotion as something that is happening to us, and they are also teachers. So what are you learning from that? That is same like you are feeling trapped in something. What is the learning you can get out of it?
I think it's the parallel with the team and just having open conversations. So having this reflective space now and this supervision is allowing me to have that open conversation.
Beautiful, thank you.
How are you feeling at this moment, Kevin?
Good. I'm actually quite relieved now because I know what I have to do in the next coaching session.
Okay. Let's see. Suman has a question.
Maybe it's coming too late, but what I was gonna reflect back to you is that throughout the conversation, I'm feeling a lot of confusion. And I'm wondering where that is located within you.
I guess that confusion was the suppression of telling the team, like, get over it. It's like it's like being directive, but being a coach as well, right? And it's about that suppression of not telling people what to do during a coaching session. I guess that is the biggest portion. And I guess that's why we have supervision, so that we can let all of these things out. That's probably where the confusion is coming from.
So as you speak, what's coming to my mind is there were a couple of Kevins in the room.
I know there were.
So I guess which one do you want to give the power to lead?
So from a business perspective, it's definitely not the values Kevin, right? So from a business perspective, it's Coach Kevin that ultimately needs to come through. But I guess it's the whole values thing that comes up. How much of the values are we compromising? But at the end of the day, as I said, my left brain's like quite active. It's just the practicality of it, right? We need to deliver a service. We're not there to tell them what to do. Otherwise, they would have got me in to do a consulting assignment as opposed to a team intervention. So I guess it's that whole practicality part that comes through.
Yeah. Thank you so much. So let's start wrapping up this conversation and pick up a final number between 1 to 54, Kevin.
I guess number 10.
Number 10. Let's go and see the card, which is like a final question that Miraki is offering you. And that is, what do you think about your physical energy levels now?
Definitely much better than when I started this session.
Interesting. Interesting. And it shows a walk and it shows a brain. And I think what is coming up in your conversations as well is, how do you convert your empathy to compassion and take action and have conversations and courageous conversation to move past that, influence of whatever is happening in the I7.
Yeah.
Great. Is it a
Thank
good
you.
time to wrap up?
Yes, it is. Thank you. Thank you
And
for everybody's contribution.
you're welcome. Anything you would like to ask any of us?
No, I'm good. I'm actually very pleased as to how we're going to run the next session now. So thank you.
Awesome. Great. Thank you, everybody, for your participation and being open to Miraki's experiment. Thank you so much. Over to you, Damien.
No, thank you, Jaya. And that gives us a few minutes to discuss the experience working with the card. So I think that was a beautiful session to observe. I don't know, how do you feel, Kevin, to share the recording with other people? Are you okay with that, or you would prefer not to share it?
I'm okay. I didn't disclose any client names, so I'm okay.
I was pretty general. Is everybody okay with sharing this?
Yeah, yes, for me, actually.
Yes, Suman, it's okay with you too? Like, I want to be sure that everybody's okay. And a need for learning. And I do believe it's very good for supervisors to learn different tools that can support us in our job. So, Jaya, thank you for bringing the cards. And I'm wondering, what are people's reactions about using these cards? Maybe starting with you, Kevin. And I think that you were kind of surprised with one of the cards. And I said, okay, this is the universe. Just send me this card. You know, what is the universe telling me here? Or, okay.
It's definitely the universe was telling me something. because it was a suppression of values. And then the card that came up was like, oh my God. So I think you're right, Damien. There is value in terms of using different tools, and some of them just resonates with different people. But when you get spooky things like this that come up, right, and you draw card 20, it's like, oh my God, this is exactly what we're talking about. I think that just like helps you believe in some of the tools that we're exploring.
Great. Let's hear from other people. What are other people's reaction? And then, Jaya, you can finish with your comments, talking a little bit more about the cards. But how was for everybody else? And actually, how was it for you?
Well,
Go ahead, Genevieve. Go ahead, and then we can
yeah,
finish.
for me, it is the second or third time I'm seeing Jaya working with those tools, and I think they're really powerful. And that was very interesting to see how we could move forwards and see the a real shift with Kevin as well. So I like the tool, and thank you, Jaya, and
Yeah,
everyone participated.
yeah, it was a wonderful session, and really loved the shift. And I think when we are so much caught up with our brain, these cards really helps us to move forward, I guess.
And Suman, for you, any comments?
I've used similar cards before and experienced similar responses. So I do believe in this tapping of the unconscious. But in this session, I found myself resisting using the card for some reason. And I felt like I had this overwhelming feeling of confusion, which was just the main theme for me today. And thankfully I got a chance to explore that, and it did help in that sense. So I think it's just different layers, right? So if you can have the ability to tap into what's coming up for you as coach, and as participants in this group supervision, then it could also be used, as a method, not necessarily having a tool. but there's some people who prefer the card, and the same thing is happening. It's still a tapping into the unconscious. It's just at different levels, I guess, you know.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your comments. I think we have a couple of minutes, Jaya, for you to wrap up the session today with some observations about this session and about anything that you think is important to know about the cards.
Yeah, so this tool that we created, well, the whole idea was, can we deal with something which is invisible, especially like energy, because energy talks, right? Attention talks. So there are subconscious parts to this tool which actually draws our attention to something that we may not be noticing. And that's really the idea. And the question that comes up in the moment, we don't know how the card comes to you. We've designed a framework which has been working in several sessions. And obviously, there are times when it may not resonate. So it's a pack of 54 cards. You can run this kind of a session virtually. It's available online. You can create an event for around 20 people at a time and more for group coaching sessions, or if you want physical cards, you can order them. It's available in both the formats, and then the training is also available for that. So in case you have more questions, feel free to reach out to me.
Do you have a slide with information for people who are watching the recording? Can you share a slide with the details? Because you can put it in the chat box, but for other people may also benefit if you can. Do you have a visual with your info?
Yes, so there is a website for this, which is simply meraki.abhyudayacoach.com, where all the information is available. The URL is given here, meraki.abhyudayacoach.com.
We cannot. Okay, now we can. Okay, it's moving. Okay.
So it has most of the information, and we are reachable for any demonstration for anyone.
Thank you, Jaya. Thanks, everybody. Great seeing you, Genevieve. I always respect you so much for being here so early. That's it's in Paris. It's pretty early in the morning, so
Well, it was 4 o'clock, but I was a little bit late because of the time, so that's fine.
Thanks for joining.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody. And let's see
everyone.
Next month, let's do it on team coaching, supervision. Let's work on CCEs. If we don't get it from the chapter, because I teach an SATP program, I'm wondering maybe I can use some of the hours that I provide for training for CCEs. So it can be done through my company too. And it's extra work for me to prepare the certificate. But if we're going to have people coming, it may be worthwhile. So,
okay.
Great seeing everyone.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you,
everyone.
everyone.
Bye.
Thanks
a lot.
Bye. Thank you.